high ticket coaching and pricing done, I want to talk about whether or not you as a coach, as a consultant, as a course creator can still really grow a profitable and successful business in 2025 and beyond if you are somebody who's trying to sell solely high ticket coaching. One of the things that I found though is that the industry has changed. And I think most folks who've been around since the 2010s will say likely the same thing, is that we're not living in the same age that we did back in 2010 and then into early pandemic 2020. Can't believe I'm saying it. We're going into 2030, y'all. 2030 really soon here. And what's crazy about this is that the idea of high ticket, high-end coaching and programs has really shifted. And there's almost this disdain or distrust or aversion to these types of things for very valid reasons, self-included, in that a lot of the times we've had less than ideal experiences. Many people in the last decade, in the last 20 plus years, have had experiences where they've been overpromised, told that they're going to have all of these things that are going to come true. And then of course they invest thousands and thousands of dollars and the programs oftentimes underdeliver. So there's this huge jadedness where a lot of folks at this point are much more hesitant to just drop $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on coaching or consulting or whatever the thing is. It's not to say that people won't and don't do it. It's to say that people are more wanting to investigate and make sure that they're actually going to get their money's worth. And that's real. I think one of the things that it's also done is it's put the responsibility back on the business provider to be really honest about what it is that you're doing, about what it is that you're selling, about how it is that you're actually delivering on the promises that you're making. And I don't want to just shit on everybody's parade here, but what I want to do is really speak to those of you who maybe have relied heavily on things like high ticket coaching or high ticket group coaching programs. There is definitely an arena for these things. There is definitely a marketplace that exists. And there's also a very large market of folks who want to get into these spaces, who want to learn, who want to understand more, where you don't just have to play the high-end ticket game. And I think this is something that can be really helpful for folks, especially in my personal experience. Again, all preference and opinion here. When we're only creating high ticket programs, when we're only creating offers and products where it's high end, it requires a lot of effort, a lot of input from us personally, that also means that it's high delivery. It requires a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of energy, and that sometimes is what makes it hard to scale. The other issue that I find with it is that then we become reliant on a small group of people, whether we're doing one-to-one or whether we're doing group, to basically pay for the majority of your income. And that can be really risky if you're a business owner who you only have a very small base of clients. If somebody drops off, a huge chunk of your income disappears. That creates a recipe for disaster because now you're building a business where you are becoming codependent on your clients to stay with you long term. It's not to say that was the intention of your business. That's not to say that's what you meant to do, but oftentimes it's what happens because of the way that the business is built. And so one of the things that I think is important for folks to understand, and we have an entire podcast episode that goes over financial literacy and pricing and ethical pricing and how do you actually figure out your pricing and your numbers for your business so that you can make better decisions about the business that you're building, the model that you're creating, and how you're scaling something that is supportive for what you want to create, for the life that you want to build. If you are a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're a course creator, or you're somebody who has sold services and now you're trying to figure out how to continue to grow your business without being overly reliant on a small group of clients to make that profitable for you, then we do have resources for this. You can feel free to check out our blog. I link them in the description down below. There's a blog and a podcast that talks about financial literacy, how to basically scale a business that makes sense for you and your lifestyle and your time, and more importantly, how to ethically price your products and your services so that they make sense for you and the consumer, and it's an easy buy-in. This is something that I think we're going to need to continue to unpack and talk about as time goes on, because we don't want to build something that we feel trapped in. And oftentimes that's the case for so many business owners who fall into following this traditional path of you do a bunch of high ticket one-to-one coaching and then you do a bunch of high-end group coaching programs and now you're in this launch cycle. Luckily, I think a lot of folks have moved out of that. But now the question becomes, what's next? What's next? Because obviously you do need to build revenue. You do need to create income for yourself. It is a business. And you also need to make sure that you're delivering on the client delivery side, that you're holding up what it is that you're promising. So there's a beautiful balance that gets to happen there. Now, in my personal opinion, I think it's important to diversify what it is you're doing. And this doesn't mean have a gajillion different offers. It means have clarity about what different components of your business serve what purpose. If you're doing high-end and are high ticket, meaning you're charging $500 to thousands of dollars for coaching services, how are you building something in tandem with that to where you're not going to be time poor with all of the amount of time and energy that you're pouring into high delivery work? How are you building something that is going to be more sustainable and ideally eventually more passive, which of course is going to be a slower process. It's not going to skyrocket your income right away because it requires volume. But how are you doing it in a way that's going to make sense for you? How are you building something that is supporting the long-term vision, not just maintaining and sustaining where you are currently, temporarily? And I think that right there is the trap that so many people, friends, colleagues, peers, clients have fallen into. We build a business that brings in income, it maintains us, but we're literally beating ourselves every single day to try to keep it up, even when we're tired, even when we're fatigued, even when we get clinically diagnosed with burnout, we're still pushing through because we don't have any other way to maintain or sustain. So my biggest hope for those of you that are watching this video is that you take this into consideration, that you think about what it is that you're building, and that you reconsider whether or not high end is the end goal, or if you want to diversify what it is that you're doing. And if you do, what is that going to look like for you in your business? How do you want to create something that's going to work long term, not just something that you are working so hard to maintain in the short term? If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to learn more, as always, hit subscribe. And if you're curious about the work that we do, there's two things that you can do to get started. One, you can take the free quiz that is linked in the description down below. This is basically a business assessment tool that will help you better understand how you're doing in your business, where the bottlenecks are. Is it your pricing? Is it the client delivery? Is it your sales? Is it your marketing? Is it even something that's scalable? And you can get that free assessment, no cost whatsoever. If you want to check it out, again, click the link in the description down below. If you want to learn more about what our philosophy, our approach is, then you can go to sassandseo.com/method, where we talk about the 6 different components of business and the process, the framework that we use to help clients get out of these pickles that they find themselves in and start to build something that is more sustainable. Something that does feel more ethical and more values aligned. And I don't say that to just throw in a bunch of words here, but I say that because it's what you're really moving towards. There's a reason why you started watching this video, and there's a reason why you're still watching it now. So if you're curious about our work, if you want to learn more, and if you're curious even about exploring what it would look like, then you can check out also our membership that is linked in the description down below. It's a low-cost way for you to start to work on building your business, to start growing your marketing and getting out of traditional fads of burnout-based social media marketing and high-ticket, high-end, high-intensity, high-delivery services. So again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you in future ones. And I also hope that we get to see you inside the membership. Have a great day, y'all.